Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to talk about breaking down the script. These two steps, basically how a script gets tagged and how we break it down into lists of things. Okay, so the way it works in software is I'm using, for this one, I'm using Final Draft. There are other software you can use, Movie Magic, Celtics. But Final Draft is kind of the industry standard these days, it seems like. Anyway, so they all do pretty much the same thing. So if you notice, I can go here to production and go to tag mode, and it will allow me to highlight things, and then it'll allow me to give them a category. So I'm going to forget that one. Let's just say if I go in here and I say Angela, right, I can highlight that, and then I can say it is a, where it's going to be character. I haven't done that yet with this software. So, oh, there we go, cast members. So I don't like cast members, but basically that's what you call it. So you could just tag it, right? And so now, if you notice, now it's highlighted there, and then over here, I'm gonna highlight for another scene. I'm gonna find Angela again. I'm gonna highlight her, and I'm just gonna say reuse an existing tag. And so I use Angela and then tag it. So the idea is that I will build this internal list of all the things in the script, and it will allow me to print these lists out. It will allow me to export the script to a production software. That production software will allow me to make, if you look over here, this example I gave of the production strips, yeah, up here, it will automatically put the scene number and everything, as well as add the props and different characters and so on that are a part of it. This one's not showing that, but that is something we can do with software. However, we're not going to do that for this. We're not going to do software. We could, but it's a little bit overkill for this particular project. We can count the number of assets on one hand, but so we won't do that. But I just want to explain what breaking down the script is. Tagging the script means literally you're creating these tags inside the script, right? And so then I could just exit tag mode, and now the script looks normal again. But you will notice, so let's talk about the format of a screenplay. So you have exterior and morning, and then the name of the location. So Angela home, exterior, morning. And so these are important things to describe about a scene from a production point of view, meaning that when you're shooting scenes, you might have more than one scene and action at one location, and you would group all these things together by the morning time or the evening and so on. Another way to group things is whether or not it's interior or exterior. So INT is interior. So all the exterior scenes of a location, we would, in a real world, we would shoot all at the same time if we can, or in a series of days, let's put it that way. If we could get them all shot within a short period of time, we usually group them together if possible and do them all at the same time. And so interior again, so all the interior scenes, we would shoot those all at the same time. We wouldn't necessarily go shoot the exterior scenes, then run inside and shoot the interior scenes, then run outside and do that, unless you're guerrilla filmmaking. But more than likely you're organizing things based on if it's exterior and interior, if it's the time of day, night, day, morning, and so on. Now, for animation, obviously times of day aren't as crucial or critical. For real world filmmaking, of course, you have to schedule people in the day or the night, and it does make a difference. Also, if the sun is out or not, it makes a huge difference. You can't shoot daytime scenes at night very easily unless you're in a studio and everything's closed off, in which case then day and night has more to do with the lighting. And that would be more like what it is with animation production, where day or night has more to do with the lighting of the scene, but it is not really that crucial. So we don't really worry too much about if it's day or night. Interior, exterior is just a format, but it does help us if we know, for example, the set for the interior of Angela's room is not going to be the same as the set for the exterior. That will be just part of the, more than likely, part of the, the skyline scene, the, New York type skyline. And we'll have a window, and then we'll cut to the inside. And there won't be any relation between those two. So it does matter for animation because we want to know only if it's the interior or exterior of a scene. It makes a big difference because we're not going to build the whole building with all the rooms in it, right? And we're not always going to go through the window. We could. Here I have push into window, but it's an option. We can either just push into the window and cut to the bed, or we can push all the way through. Either way, we still need to know, are we doing the exterior or the interior? Because there's a lot more props specific to her interior scene than there are, and more than likely more props specific to the interior, and probably no props at all really that particular on the exterior. So I will talk more details about that in another video when I get down the list of these things. But for now, we're trying to identify what parts of the script we need to make note of. Okay. All right. So what that relates to when we look at the strip board is, you can see over here, I will have the scene number. Is it interior? What's the name of the location? In this case, Mika room and day, right? So that comes directly from the script, okay? The scene number, if interior, and so on. Like I said, the day or night doesn't really matter that much, but it could. It could make a little bit of difference. We're not as interested in that for animation. Okay, so now the next thing is the props. So you notice that I have highlighted ballet shoes here in capital letters. And if I was to go into tagging mode on the script, here, go to tagging mode. Now I can go down here to, where was the ballet shoes? Okay, so now I can go ballet shoes there. And is it going to be a wardrobe? Yeah, so it's a wardrobe. It's also a prop, so I could do wardrobe once, tag it, and I believe I can tag it again as a prop. Maybe not. No, yeah, possible. Let's see if I can do two. See what happens. So it's it may have changed it actually to from the wardrobe to a prop, but in this case it's actually both. So it's going to be something we modeled for her to wear and rig with, and it's also going to be a prop. So we could would have to note that, and in this case we probably would tag it as a prop because the wardrobe is going to be already, when we say she's going to wear a ballet outfit, we know we're going to make the shoes as a part of that outfit. But we may not understand. When I say we, I mean, the guys setting up the scene, they may not have thought of, oh, that's right, we got to take the ballet shoes off of the wardrobe, make those as a prop, and then so we can hang it on the bed and have her grab it as a hand prop, right? So these are important things. That's why this is highlighted the way it is, right? Now I'm saying we're not going to use this software to highlight it, but I'm saying that when you look at my screenplay, you will see I have highlighted it for good reason. And that's the reason why I highlighted that, is because that will be a prop that we need to know about when we're producing and making plans. Okay, so we go down here. Let's see if we can find something else. The locations are easy. Obviously, they're already highlighted. They're already capitalized, and they're given a number. So with that, we already know. Then from there, we have other characters that we will need to know about, right? And these are shots, we don't worry about that at this stage. We're not worried about shots. So when you see this angle on, that means just a note for myself as I'm directing and making a storyboard. How is it that I want to, what do I want to emphasize on the scene? I might want to change the camera angle for sure there, that kind of thing. So then again, here's another one, the calendar. That's an important prop because that's going to hang from the door. It's going to give us information we need to know. Okay? So moving down here, it's just a matter of reading the screenplay and finding out, what do these things mean? Why did I highlight them? And here is another one I didn't highlight. So this one actually needs to be highlighted. I should have capitalized that. So that's another thing you will need to do is, if the screenwriter or a person who took the screenplay from the writer and made it into a production screenplay, they may have missed things like highlighting or capitalizing certain things. So you kind of have to read. You can't just go by the caps, right? So I should have capitalized that, but I didn't. So that's just the way it is. So let me get out of production, out of this mode here. I'm going to do it while I'm thinking about it. Okay, and so go into Format, Font, and make it all caps. There we go. So mechanical knee brace. That's an important prop that we need, right? Okay, so here's another one I left off, treadmill. So it's really a matter of reading the screenplay, because I don't always highlight everything, although, you should, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you just get too many caps in there, and it gets distracting when you're reading it. But so here's another one where the dance teacher is walking on the treadmill. Angela is standing there on a box and is egging her on. Well, okay, so we got two things, a treadmill and a box. We need to know those things. We need to know what's in the scene, right? That's going to be for concept art to modeling all the way down, right? So that's what tagging the script means. It means just identifying things in the script that need to be made into a list. So now, like I say, we could make this, tagging mode, but rather than that, what we're going to do is we're just going to actually literally make a list here. So, just take a list and say, okay, props. So every time you find a new prop, put it on that list. Okay? So that's how we're going to do it for this, because it's going to be a fairly simple production. All right, so that's breaking down the script and making lists of scenes, characters, and props, right? So we will have a list of scenes, characters, and props, right? So you could have just a list set aside, and you just start adding things to those lists as you go, and read back and double check everything. All right, so after you have all of the things that you think are going to be in the screenplay, and you've checked that with the director and anyone else involved in the production that knows, what's supposed to happen. When that's done, then we can move on to the next thing. And again, if it was software, we would just add it to the screenplay and export it again to the production software, and it would update automatically. But again, it's we can just do it right here. We just add another strip, right, or add another item to one of these strips. Okay, so I'm going to go into strips later, but that's how we break down the script. That's why we break it down, and that should be it for now.